UR7s Kenya has been designed for us to come and spend time across the entire country of Kenya, giving opportunities to young rugby players, old rugby players, girls and boys all over the country to learn about this great sport of rugby sevens.
We were practicing and we were trying to get connections to other guys who can mentor us, and we had this group called UR7s. We got in touch through Twitter.
Once I saw that UR7 are going to be around, I just picked it up and just threw in a request because there were some openings in the schedule. And I was very glad to receive a response from Tom.
The tour has taken us over 5,000 kilometres throughout Kenya. We've been as far north as Bungoma, in the heartland of Western Kenya, where some of the greatest rugby sevens players from Kenya have ever come. We spent time in Kakamega at the Western Bulls at Kakamega High School before heading on to Kisumu, went down into Nakuru. We've spent all our time all over Nairobi, from Kariobangi through to on the Ungong Road at the RFU grounds. We've been to the Masai Mara, we've seen all of the Big Five. We've learned that Kenya is one of the most wonderful countries that you can possibly travel to.
As we've gone through those 7 weeks, we kind of started off with the youngsters the first few weeks and a few of the smaller clubs, and we've been able to progress onto the Kenya under-19 team. And then the first teams at Strathmore Homeboys, which are two of the leading clubs in the Kenyan rugby divisions.
You know, obviously a lot of the folks here financially struggle quite a bit, but they just came with such fantastic attitudes every time.
Although we might have passed some knowledge on to them, I feel like I've learned incredibly from those guys too. They're so friendly, so welcoming, and they're just so passionate about rugby sevens.
You come to a country like Kenya and you think, well, it's a new sport to them, new sport to the kids, and you know, they've all got the skills, the basic skills they need, and you know, as we know, Kenyans are natural athletes, so looking good for them.
I was really amazed at the base level of skill of the boys and some of the girls that we ran into over the course of the last month. So they picked up the game so quickly. They're just such natural athletes, and that was what really struck me.
You guys are bloody good at running, right? You've got great balance and you can move a ball really well. And then sometimes you can probably learn from us English about the movement of the ball itself, okay, and how we do that. So we're going to look a little bit at that. We're going to play some games at the far end, a communication game, and then we're going to finish with some conditioned rugby sevens, rugby tens type games at the end.
I want to see rugby passes only. None of the American football stuff, okay? Just rugby passes.
International coaches talk about it being their 10 out of 10s, the non-negotiables, the things that you can't get wrong. And hopefully in our 2-3 hour sessions, our schools days, our time at universities, our time with the clubs, we've looked at the fundamentals, the simple parts of the games, and impressed on these boys that if you get those bits right, that'll then unlock the ability to be able to move and swerve like every Kenyan rugby player can, because they can do that. And if they get those fundamentals right, they'll be world beaters.
The development side of the sport is massive. The more interest is shown in them, the more they will show interest in the sport. So and that's what takes it further.
The fact that these guys here see a group of coaches from overseas who are interested in them and interested in building their skills and interested in developing them as human beings, as rugby players, is phenomenal.
They were so happy to hear that we are getting visitors from outside Kenya to come and train them. And trust me, the first game they will have after this, you'll see a lot of improvement.
UR7s wants rugby to grow. We're always willing to learn. What you guys are teaching today is mostly what I've been trying to teach. So by you coming and enforcing that, it shows the kids, the players, that they've been doing the right thing.
I think rugby is the same language, but how we speak it is probably like a dialect, if I say so. And it's very interesting that when we come and look at the same thing in a different view, then we actually master the skill.
We are not considered as a first or second tier nation in the game. So There's nothing as good as coaches from the first-tier nations in rugby coming over to assist us and helping us in that.
So anytime we have an opportunity to interact with the alternative coaching, it's great. So this kind of clinic is just supplementing the kind of part-time coaching we have.
One needs exposure, and if they can't travel around the world, let them be exposed to different methods of doing things so that they can always have options and most importantly think outside the box.
We get to know another perspective of rugby altogether. We tend to go to the complicated part, but for programs like UR7s, it has been about the basics, the simple things that make rugby more, as in better.
Things like catch pass. I think we worked with the squad and it's improving day by day because we know the skills, but we're not really practicing on a regular basis. So the initiative that UR7s is making in Kenya is massive.
It's been amazing what the UR7s has done over the past 4 or 5 weeks. I mean, in terms of just going out there and seeing what potential is there, not only in rugby, all over Kenya, and just getting the kids in those regions to have a different voice.
UR7's done an amazing job, an amazing company that's done this in different regions around the world, but just what a story to come to Kenya and hopefully further in the future, training kids, not only the seniors, but the children that will be the future and the future face of Sevens rugby in Kenya.
I think it's just about sustainability, trying to look for a way that we can able to sustain these development programs.
We just need to get it right and do it continuously, instead of waiting for every other year for it to happen.
We want to work out how we can leave a lasting legacy, how our program can be more sustainable, and that legacy of UR7s Africa or UR7s Kenya not just last for 2014, 2015, or even just up to the Olympics. We're talking about being here for 4, 5, up to 10 years.
I think we all agree, both Atlas and UR7s, the future isn't just Kenya, it's regional countries within East Africa, who all, I think, to varying degrees, are excited about sevens as this new Olympic sport, and a sport that's obviously growing hugely.
I think in the future we'll certainly be back here and learning more and more about those stories and how rugby and rugby sevens are giving opportunities for people around the world. All right.